Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Just a reminder, we'll have our live chat tonight at 8 p.m. I hope to see you there. We have a lot to talk about, from what's going on in the tropics to whether or not we're going to see any rain anytime soon. But right now, let's talk about air quality. We have smoke coming in from Nova Scotia. There was a big fire in Nova Scotia. And because we have north to northeasterly winds at the surface up to about 925 millibars, that's taking all that smoke and driving it right into our neck of the woods. And that's impacting everything from air quality to visibility. Now, we have a lot of low clouds in place as well along the coast, mixing in with some of that smoke. So you have very poor visibility, especially if you're planning on flying today. That might be an issue in terms of some delays. That's what all these red and purple circles mean. It means that you have IFR and LIFR conditions, which is not good if you're going to be flying. So you have a lot of low clouds, a lot of fog, a lot of smoke in the atmosphere, making for some poor air quality conditions. That's going to be a theme throughout, really on through tomorrow morning. Temperatures throughout the region range from the mid to upper 50s over the northern interior, lower to mid 50s in your suburbs, and mid to upper 50s in your urban areas. Now, your coolest locations are actually right along the coast here, where you have a lot of that cloud cover. And then away from the coast, you don't have as much cloud cover, so you have the ability to warm up a little bit faster. It's easier to take a look at the latest surface map first. And you can see our low pressure system down here and high pressure here. So the difference between this, the air rotates as the higher pressure and the lower pressure balance out. So the air is racing from the higher pressure to the lower pressure. And so what you get is the air moving like this. So take a look at our wind pattern. You can see that evolution take place with a little bit of a Coriolis effect. And that's taking all that smoke that's sitting out here and right back into the coast. And that's why we're seeing the smoke in the atmosphere. You can see that very nicely here on the visible satellite picture. You can see that smoky air mass coming on in. It doesn't look thick on the visible satellite picture, but we are definitely noticing kind of smoky smell to the atmosphere once again. And you're also transporting moisture, low-level moisture. And what you have along the coast here is what we call an inversion. Now, as the sun continues to rise and the atmosphere warms, that inversion basically falls away, okay? And as a result, those low clouds will break up, but you'll still continue to have that hazy condition in place in the atmosphere as the smoke rotates into the region. On the infrared satellite picture, you don't really see it all that well because the smoke is pretty much the same temperature as the atmosphere, so it doesn't stand out as much as when you look at the visible satellite picture. But you can see high pressure basically in control throughout the region. So if it wasn't for the smoke, you basically have some low clouds in the morning, followed by clearing skies in the afternoon. No threat whatsoever from this low pressure system, as this is going to head out in the Atlantic. And this low pressure system that we're watching has the potential of possibly picking up some tropical characteristics this weekend. But much like this one, it's going to remain well to our south and off the coast here. It'll march through Florida with some heavier downpours, and then potentially could develop a tropical low or subtropical low. Right now, the chance of that is really low, but the reason why it's important is because it will enhance the gradient between a high pressure system that's going to be here and a backdoor cold front that's going to be dropping through from the Canadian Maritimes. So it's going to enhance our winds a little bit indirectly. So it's pretty interesting pattern setting up for this upcoming weekend. For today, areas of haze, not the best air quality out there, but temperatures will be rebounding nicely into the upper 60s to mid 70s along the immediate coast. Your coolest locations are on Long Island, upper 70s to lower 80s away from the coast for highs today. For tonight into tomorrow morning, again, watch out for some of that smoke and haze and some low clouds developing. Low temperatures will range from the lower to mid 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, again, some hazy sunshine. Watch out for that air quality. Temperatures will range from the mid to upper 70s on Long Island, upper 70s to lower 80s along the coast, and lower to mid 80s everywhere else. On Friday, tranquil conditions once again. Now, we'll have a backdoor cold front that's still over New England to our north and east, and that's going to lead to some increasing cloud cover, but still dry conditions, and in some locations, rather hot. You'll have low temperatures ranging from the upper 50s to lower 60s. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 70s on Long Island, upper 70s to lower 80s along the rest of the coast, mid to upper 80s over the interior, and in the Delaware River Valley, upper 80s to lower 90s. So a bit of a hot day. A lot of this is dependent on what we call sinking air between this low pressure system and these lower pressures here and your backdoor cold front up here. You're going to have a lot of sinking air, clearing skies, and sinking air warms. So there's a potential here for temperatures to really spike in the Delaware River Valley. Then that all comes to an end on Saturday. Now we have this backdoor cold front dropping through, and not looking for a lot of rain here. Isolated, widely scattered showers. A few showers could produce some heavier downpours. It's certainly not a washout this weekend in any way, shape, or form. Most locations will have a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures will range from the upper 50s to lower 60s for lows, and high temperatures will range from the lower to mid 70s on Long Island, upper 70s to lower 80s along the coast, and mid to upper 80s away from the coast. Now, a little bit of a warning here for the temperature forecast for this weekend on through early next week. The location of the backdoor cold front will have a major impact on the type of temperatures we experience. So through this forecast period, through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you're going to have this backdoor cold front hanging around the region. You might see it more as a trough. Sometimes it'll actually be an actual cold front, but the overall theme is this. You're going to have a mix of sun and clouds with a few pesky showers here and there. Low temperatures will be pretty uniform, basically ranging from the upper 40s to lower 50s over the interior, lower to mid 50s along the coast. The high temperatures are where this forecast gets tricky. Locations along and to the north of the backdoor cold front will basically range from the mid to upper 60s along, let's say, Connecticut and Long Island, lower to mid 70s as you move a little bit further inland. But if you are to the south of this backdoor cold front, your temperatures are going to spike right back up into the upper 70s to mid 80s. In some cases, beginning of sinking air, they could actually push close to 90 degrees. So there's a chance here that we'll have throughout the week this wavering 30-degree gradient over the region, depending on where that backdoor cold front is. And the problem is that model guidance is changing the location of that backdoor cold front with almost every model run. So instead of chasing the models and every 15 minutes you're going to have temperatures bouncing from the upper 60s to lower 70s to the mid to upper 80s, just know this. The location at that frontal boundary will determine each day where you'll be in terms of that temperature range. If you're down in Philadelphia, you're more likely to see temperatures around the mid 80s for much of this weekend on through next week. If you are towards Long Island and Connecticut, you're more likely to be stuck in the 60s and 70s. So plan accordingly. And as that frontal boundary wavers around, we'll get a better idea once we get under 120 hours in the forecast, and especially under 90 hours in the forecast, to provide more details on exactly what you could expect for your location. But that's generally the theme all the way on through next week. Backdoor cold front lingers around, pattern locked in, trough in the Canadian Maritimes, and low pressure systems passing to our south, and high pressure in the Great Lakes. That's our theme for the next several days. That is your forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay safe out there.